Welcome back, guys. In this video, we're going to be talking about two different resources that you guys can use for inspiration or if you need some sort of specific guidance within a Midjourney. So let's get started. The first reference point here is a GitHub page that we found that is called Midjourney Styles and Keywords Reference. I'm going to show you guys a little bit about how to navigate this, and I'm going to show you guys what's important and what's kind of some side stuff just to play around with. So within this GitHub, there is this main section right here, which is your styles. It is probably the biggest section. There are so many styles you can pick. You can even do things like using song lyrics or combinations of a bunch of them and some experimental stuff. And there's prompt writing, parameters. What do these parameters do? Using tile, which I'll get into, resolution and upscaling, quality, chaos, and some remix stuff. So let's start with version comparison. So if we click on this, we can go in here and kind of understand where Midjourney has come, right? Version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4, and we also have version 5, right? So this is great if you want to understand what sort of style you want to go for. If you want to just make an abstract image about surrealism, you can go for the first one if this is that kind of cartoony paint type of look you want. But if you want to go really real, this is kind of the way you would go with Midjourney V5. V5, in my opinion, is the best because it can replicate all of the styles from previous ones with the right keywords. There's a thing called Niji, which is more of like a character animation sort of style. This is good for cartoon replication, anime style, sci-fi retro, things like that. So let's talk about how to navigate this platform. I know you just saw me go into the version comparison page, but let's kind of understand what we need to do. So we were on this main part of the GitHub. As you can see, this is who made the GitHub up here, and this is what it's titled. So let's go down here and we can see links to other resources, a how-to guide. So there is a how-to guide here, but this is not a how-to guide on how to navigate. This is about creating an image, sending image to other people and your DMs, downloading images, etc. And if we want to get back to the main page, we would go right here and click on this top button for the title. So now let's go down here into your styles. Let's say I just want to figure out what certain objects are and what their keywords are. I would click on this. Now I can choose my version at the top. So version 5, and now I have all these categories within this, and I just click on it and there's a drop down. So atom, if you want this sort of structurized type of look, fullerene, right? Nanoparticles. There are tons of resources in here navigating through instruments and clothing. Outfit will display multiple parts, uniform will display on body, right? Things like that. Jeans, tuxedo. So this is just kind of a simple navigation method that they've been using with drop downs and different little sections. I know it can kind of look intimidating when you get here and you just see all of these things, but it's really not that intimidating. So what I want to go through are some of the things that can be super important that this resource can be very helpful with. So parameters, this is really good with showing you stylizing, right? Version 5, no stylizing, looks like this, right? Lots of stylizing brings you into like super hyper realistic color, not much so on the background, but crazy coloring for this stone, right? And we do stylizing 0, we see that it looks more like a stone. We more have the texture, right? And the reflections, and the background is also there. Stylizing kind of really dials you in on your texturing and your coloring, but not so much your background and some other sort of realism. Stylizing is not super useful. You won't really use it too much, but here are some more examples of really high stylization. Not the most useful thing, but just to show you guys the layout of how parameters work. It goes from the scale from the lowest to the highest. But let's get into some important parameters. Your most important parameter is probably going to be, obviously besides your image resolution and your aspect ratio, the no parameter. The no parameter basically is used for telling Midjourney that you don't want certain things, right? As you can see in here, no red, no pink. I don't see any red, I don't see any pink anywhere in here. It's all blues, yellows, greens, right? So let's go down here. No background. As you can see, this one has no background, this one has no background. These two do have backgrounds, so it doesn't always give you exactly what you want unless you go to our next thing, which is weighting. So right here, image weight is under your prompt parameters. So bubble design, right? With a sunset image. -1 image weight, no sunset. Not a hint of sunset in here at all. Maybe some pinkish sunset color, some oranges, but that is it. Now if we go to image weight 2, we have no sphere. Pretty much no sphere at all. It just replicates your sunset, right? If you want a middle range, 0.75, maybe 1, it puts a sunset sort of landscape in with the bubbles. It has both, right? Spray paint. Again, no sunset. But here, all sunset. Doesn't even take into account spray paint. But in the middle, spray paint style sunsets, right? So image weighting can be huge. So if you really heavily weight things inside of your prompts, which weight can be done by doing --IW, right? So this is a way where you can weight things. Image weight was just a comparison for this. You can weight things inside of your prompt as well, right here, keyword weight. So keyword weight, galaxy, and you would weight it at 1, 2, 0.50. This would go after the image, and it will completely ignore the other parts of your prompting, like vaporwave, but the word is galaxy. You know, lots of weight on galaxy, we just get a galaxy. Lack of weight is this. This is what we get. We get pretty much no galaxy at all. So weighting is a great way to really emphasize back what I was talking about with your no parameter and saying no this or no that, right? No red. There is no red in here except for a little bit of red, right? But if you heavily weight no red, it will avoid red at all costs. No blue. I'm colorblind, but I don't think there's any blue in here. So if your no parameters do not work out, weight them heavier. Let's look at suffix comparisons because this is kind of niche, but it can really help you out with things like ray tracing, right? It doesn't even give you anything for ray tracity or ray trace size because that's not really a word. Shadow, shadowized, shadowing. This will give you a reference for how you can word things, right? Glitterized, it adds a glittery texture into this. Glittering just makes it kind of shiny, right? That is a really good example of, you know, your ing, it, and ized, right? Or base words. There's a bunch of resources in here. There's too much for me to go over even. Ray traced, ray tracee, right? So mimicking kind of the ray trace sort of vibe, and this is just base ray trace, right? Now I've shown you a couple of examples. Let's go on to our next tool. So I use this tool called Mid Library, which is really, really good for a bunch of styles, right? Learning artists, you know? Alabrige, this is his style, right? If you just look him up, this is it. Eileen Agar, she is a benchmark for her type of style. This is who you would use if you really want to heavy go in on this style, right? There are so many here, but what we can also do is go to the guide. So this is all about navigating here, right? And explaining Midjourney, blending images like I talked about, explained here. Chaos is explained here, right? This shows you what the chaos weighting does, how varied the image grids are, right? The more chaos, the more different each style and each subject is going to be within your image. With 0, all of them are going to be pretty much the same, right? As you can see, chaos 0, these are all pretty similar. Chaos 99, none of these are similar except for maybe these two and these two, cross-referencing, right? Within here, not really super similar besides these two. So this is an amazing resource, and the mid guide will kind of tell you everything you need, honestly. Remix mode explained, stylizing explained, and this is great, but searching through this is the best way to understand new things like fashion design. If you want to design clothes, they're kind of out of this world. Walter Van Byrondock, right? Right here, boom. He makes crazy outfits and wardrobes for people to wear. So if you want a super out of the box style with a suit, this can give you some amazing ideas, right? So there are a lot of things inside of Mid Library, and this kind of tells you about what they are, how they do presentations, guides, features, benchmarks, right? So boom, features. Let's go in here. Style roulette is a feature, right? Boom. Garrett Pugh. This is one of the styles for the style roulette, right? They pick these every week for inspiration for artists. This is how to upscale, sketchnote style. This roulette sort of page basically gives you randomish things at the top and then this naturally occurring roulette every week so that you can understand inspiration. Really, it's not about understanding, it's about knowing what you want. This is a really good part of their page called Style Tops, right? Mind-blowing styles suggested by the community. Well, let's look at the community. Abigail Larson, right? I don't know her, but this is a great style. I would use this in certain things. This could make some really cool images. Carlos Cruz Diaz. So this is an amazing place for inspiration. This is a great place to hone in on kind of what you want, right? Intangibles, that sounds super cool. How can I influence with weak, strong, durable, powerful, right? Concepts, numbers, essence, refreshing, right? This just gives you every single word you would need to know to make a Midjourney prompt. And I just wanted to share these resources with you guys so that you could reference them when you needed to. Now that you kind of understand how to use Midjourney and how to refine your prompts, you can use this for inspiration on refining those prompts and using those advanced techniques that we've talked about. With that, I want to thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.